guys, welcome back to Belly Acres Kitchen. Just because I don't have a kitchen does not mean that I get a pass on cooking, right? So today I am going to make some pork spare ribs in the crock pot. I'm getting those ready this morning, so then that way by this afternoon, evening, whenever it is that we get hungry, we can go ahead and have something to eat here, because you guys, it gets expensive eating out every night. I'm also going to put some potatoes in another crock pot, so then that way I can make mashed potatoes. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm just going to basically cook those down until they are tender, and then I can add milk and butter, and that's the theory, right? So I got these great spare ribs that that we raised. And I'm going to go ahead and take that membrane off and get it ready for the crock pot. Theoretically, we could take these out and smoke them all day, but we only have a, Rusty has a charcoal grill, and we really don't have the time to be watching that all day to make sure his heat is right and, you know, tending to it all day. We don't have that time. So I'm going to take this membrane off to get that, get those ribs more tender. Now I use a paper towel to help with the grip on that. I'm trying not to spill blood everywhere, but, and then a sharp knife to get up underneath it. There we go. That's got her. Now I'm going to grab a separate trash bag rather than the one that we have in here, trash can. This trash directly outside, and I don't have it in here to attract flies. Okay, so what I'm starting off with, when you're cooking in the crock pot, you do kind of lose seasoning because it sits in its own juices. So I try to go ahead and salt the pork if I'm going to put it in the crock pot before I put the mustard on. Now if we were making these on the grill or in the oven where I could wrap it in foil and it would collect its own, I wouldn't worry about that. I'm just going to use this mustard for a binding agent here. See, this is the great thing of, another great thing of raising your own. You've got this cool little napkin that it comes with, right? I may have to cut these in half for them to fit in there, but I may just be able to fold them up. Both sides too. After I wiped my hands, then I realized I needed more. So anytime you're boiling or cooking something in its own juices, you do want to season well, because it does lose a lot of that when it, you know, once you pull that out. Now I'm just using a plain basic barbecue spice that I picked up at, pretty sure it was at Atwood's. But I'm also going to add a little bit of garlic to that because we do like garlic. I don't have any onions. Normally I would put an onion in the bottom of that, but I forgot to bring that from the other house, so this is what we're left with. All right, so those ribs look really good. In the bottom of this crock pot, because I'm not adding water to this crock pot, because these ribs are gonna have plenty of fat to render down and make the liquid for that to cook. But I am gonna add some Worcestershire in the bottom of that. And, oh, you know what? Let's just go ahead and finish that off because it was almost gone. And some liquid smoke. So we're just kind of giving it that smoke flavor without the smoke. It's artificial, but hey, you do what you can. And then I'm gonna see if I can just fit this right in here. Oh, you know what? That's gonna fit nicely. Yes. All right, so I'm gonna plug that in and let that cook, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my station, and then we'll get the potatoes ready in the other crock pot.
You're doing the kitchen.
Alrighty guys, so now we're going to peel these potatoes and get them in this other crock pot. So then that way, I'm not gonna cut them real small because I don't want them to turn to nothing. So I'm just gonna kind of slice them, maybe. There you go. Alright you guys, so they're pretty much big chunks just because they're going to be in this crock pot all day long. So I'm going to take them outside and rinse them, and then we will be ready to put them in the crock pot and get them started. Alright you guys, so I rinsed them and I left just a little bit of water in there. I just put a little bit of water in there so then that way they can start cooking, and I'll just come and stir them every now and then. I'm actually going to add a little bit of garlic to those so we can make garlic mashed potatoes. And some salt. Alright you guys, so we are at the end of the day, we are ready for supper. Everything's been cooking all day and it smells amazing in here. The potatoes, I did go ahead and cover them with more water because they did start to turn, the tops of the potatoes did start to turn. But so I covered them, you know, with kind of dark or whatever because they oxidized. But so I did go ahead and cover them with water and then cook them all day on low. And then actually I had put them on high because halfway through it I realized I had the coffee pot plugged in, not the crock pot plugged in. But anyway, I don't have a masher here, but I do have a meat chopper, or I have a fork. And these potatoes, you guys, are just fall apart. They just fall apart. So what I'm gonna do right now is I put that whole stick of butter in there because we do like very buttery mashed potatoes. I'm just gonna put the lid back on there and let that kind of melt down while I do the next part. So the next part, kind of limited on space here. Because I am going to warm up my tortillas. I've got the griddle going. It needs to be way hotter than that. Actually, while that's getting warm, I think I'm going to take these ribs out and I'm going to use this griddle kind of as a chopping block so I can kind of cut these apart. Look at those ribs. Holy cow. So about halfway through the day, we did come in here and turn those over. What did I do with that little knife? So I'm just going to kind of, it's sizzling because I do have this griddle on so that I can warm up tortillas in a bit. Where did I put that? All right, so the only thing that would have made it better is right there at the end if I would have dumped some barbecue sauce on it. But we got these all pieced up, ready to rock and roll. They look amazing. They smell amazing. Hoping I don't drop them. And the cool thing about using this griddle to cut the steaks while it was hot is when I go to warm up the tortillas, they pick up that goodness, that flavor off of those ribs. So I'm gonna warm up tortillas to have with it. I'm gonna check on these real quick.
This thing you're not gonna put
I know.
right there.
See all of that grease right there off of that griddle?
Yeah.
All right, so that butter should be melting pretty good in there and all of those potatoes.
I should have brought the panita.
I have a meat
Chopper.
chopper in there, but really these potatoes are just falling apart.
Yeah.
I am gonna go ahead and add a little bit of milk in there so we don't just end up with gummy, gooey, overstarched taters. But who doesn't like chunky potatoes? I think that's one of those things. You either like creamy potatoes or you like chunky potatoes. You know, and everybody's kind of got their own opinion on that.
You gonna put the meat over there on that table thing?
Sure.
That way you have on the panela tortilla.
Mm-hmm. All right, so mashed potatoes in the crock pot. If you didn't know you could do that, now you do. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some salt to it and black pepper because we do like our salt and black pepper. Mama's got the table set up over here. We got a little, I don't know if you guys can see, a little tote right there sitting in the kitchen. Warm up some tortillas to eat with supper. Growing up, we had tortillas with every meal. My mama would make tortillas every single morning. Fresh tortillas all day long, every day. We hardly ever had bread. That was kind of our treat was if we had bread, but we always had tortillas, fresh made tortillas. The only thing we're missing is salsa, but we do have some tapatio here. And beans. We had beans with every meal too.
Oh yeah.
Beans with every meal. Beans and eggs, beans with whatever we had for lunch, and beans with whatever we had for supper. I remember growing up too, the best peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, tortillas, peanut butter and jelly, because we didn't have bread. We did go ahead and move our refrigerator out here, which made more sense than having to buy ice every day. We were having to buy ice every single day to fill our cooler to have stuff for sandwiches or stuff for pop, you know, water, those kinds of things. So we finally just brought the refrigerator out. We have two refrigerators, so the house that we were in had a little refrigerator, and then we have the big refrigerator, so we just moved ours out here. I do have some serving spoons, but I'm not going to dig through all the boxes to find them. This works just fine. Desi is missing out. She's out with her auntie. They went to a big water park today. But she loves mashed potatoes. She's totally missing out. I think she's having a blast though. They're gonna go out and eat. It's always good when she gets to hang out with family. All right, you guys, so we're gonna say grace and we're gonna go ahead and eat. Thank you guys for continuing to watch this channel. I know it's in shambles right now, but we'll continue to bring you as much content as we can and hopefully get more on this kitchen remodel as it comes out. But anyway, we hope you like this channel. If you do, please hit the like button.
Subscribe if you haven't already.
Yep, share with your friends.
Leave us some comments, you guys. We know, like Rachel said, there's a lot going on with this kitchen. We know you guys are watching. Some of you are watching to get the sneak peeks on the Robertson's Belly Acres channel. But most of all, don't forget to smash that bell and get notified of the next new video when it comes out.
Yep, until next time, you guys. God bless.
See ya.